Oh, really?
Yeah, so it goes up about 100,000 a year.
Wow.
The bank has to realize that sooner or later. Maybe they'll wake up, but in the meantime, that's fine. That's a pretty good return.
Mr. Trump was in Good Morning America this morning,
Oh.
and George Stephanopoulos, or
Just
whatever,
call him George.
George, asking him probably 2 or 3 stupid questions,
Of course.
and Donald Trump said to him, look, I understand that you used to work for them, and I understand you're friends with her, but let's get to the point.
This is going to be a good 4 years.
Oh, it's going to be a good 4 years? No, it's going to be a good next 7 months.
Oh, yeah, and
Because
then 4 years after that.
From now on, I'm telling you, man, and I just finished listening to the governor of Texas. What's his name, Rick Perry?
Patrick?
Oh, Patrick Perry?
Dan Patrick or something like
Oh,
that.
I don't know where I get that Perry from.
He used to be governor, remember?
Oh, that's right.
He's going to be vice president now?
Who, Rick Perry?
Yeah, you haven't heard that announcement
No.
yet?
No,
Well,
Rick
it'll
Perry?
be coming up, yeah. He's supporting Trump now, adamantly.
No, but he cannot be the vice
Why?
president. No.
What's
But I
wrong?
tell you
He can
one
be
thing,
president.
I don't know, but this governor from Texas, I really like him.
Yeah, he told
You know,
Obama to go to hell.
The federal government, I guess, or the White House tried to blackmail him
Yeah.
with this transgender thing. And he said, keep your change.
Yeah, he also pointed out that the money that he's blackmailing him with goes to pay for lunches and so forth for the needy children that attend the public schools. So if Obama wants to play that game, he's taking food out of the mouths of these poor students.
But it's not really a needy people. I know a lot of people, then they go to public school, they're not needy.
No, but they have to feed the children.
Oh,
because
yeah,
the parents
yeah.
are busy working, paying their taxes.
I know, but the way you
The
put it
wife's
is
working,
like, the way you put it is like,
well, that's the
all
way
the poor
Obama
people
would
go,
put it.
all,
No, that the food is being subsidized by the government. That's the money that Obama's threatening to take away from Texas, is actually going to the food program to pay the students lunch. So he's taking food from the students.
what is his problem now with this transgender thing?
There's no problem, it's for divisiveness. He wants to divide. He thinks that's going to be positive for the election coming up, that somehow is going to
Maybe.
go against the Republicans. I don't get that connection,
No,
but
I
that's
don't
what they're
either.
trying to
I
do.
don't either. I think it's
He
gonna.
just wants turmoil.
I think it's gonna affect
You
the
might be
Democrat.
more right. He's gonna ride in his white horse, he's gonna cause all these problems, and then ride in to straighten everything out because Hillary gets indicted. Joe Biden doesn't wanna come out and do it, so he's gonna
please,
have his third
Please
term.
don't let Joe Biden fool you. Okay, they got a deal between Obama and Joe Biden, and believe me, Joe Biden won.
All right, so Biden's gonna become president, and then
No,
he's
he's not
resign,
gonna become
and-
president.
And Obama's gonna be vice president.
No, it's not gonna happen that way.
Oh, how's it
okay,
gonna happen?
definitely it's not gonna happen like that. But Obama is not gonna be able to blackmail anybody because nobody else is so infatuated with this transgender thing. You know, people need to have their own bathroom. Period.
This is just one of his attempts. That's not gonna be the last one, that's for sure.
You
He's
know.
gonna try everything to disrupt everything so that he has to ride in his white horse and save the country. Because Hillary gets indicted and no one else wants the job, so he.
Can you imagine a guy with woman's clothes walking to the woman's bathroom to take a shower?
It's
And
unbelievable.
then that thing hanging in there, you know.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's just, this country is becoming the stupidest country on the planet.
I
If
know, but let me tell you
have a
something.
dictator,
Let me
you
tell
know
you
what
something. I don't even think even in Cuba you find these things.
You don't. Only here in the land of Obama. It's amazing.
And then blackmail. How can you blackmail when you don't have anything to blackmail with?
He's got the money.
He don't have
The
money.
United States government is sending Texas money.
Yeah.
Now, most of that money comes from Texas to start with.
Yeah.
And then the government takes their pound of flesh out and then sends back the change. Like the governor said, they can keep their change.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah,
So why doesn't the state of Texas not send the federal government any more money?
That's right. Don't send any
Don't
more
send
money.
any more.
Period.
Don't
Put him
they
in
don't
a-
like
put
that,
him in
just
a-
secede from the union.
Put them in a reserve account instead of them send it to the federal. Put them in to the, I don't know, whatever you want to call, transgender fund.
Well, what you can do, let's say you send the government 100% of the money that you collect, and you get 80% back. So the government keeps 20%. So you use 80% of the money instead of sending it to the government. You put 20% in the account you're talking about, and then that's where the government's money is when they figure out that they can't do this. So you're holding their money for them, like they try to hold it for you. Just hold it for them. But you need your money that you collect and send to Washington is supposed to send back to you. You need to use that. That's in your budget. So do it. We don't need
Why
the
don't we
president of
pay-
the United States. We don't need him.
What have we done so badly that we paying the consequence now?
The liberals have dumbed down half of the electorate. The people that vote liberal and progressive are dumb. They've been not educated. They've been
You know,
indoctrinated. They've been
I'm glad.
brainwashed.
I'm glad that I don't have any kids. I'm glad I don't have any children. And if I didn't have any children, that means I don't have any grandchildren or great grandchildren. I got no children at all in my whole life. So it's not, but man. I
Well, your
can't,
grandchildren don't have to worry about it.
I don't have that.
Right, they're not around, they don't have to worry about it. The poor grandchildren that are gonna be around have got a problem with administrations like this. We have to get this country back, we have to stop the stupidity, and this is the epitome of stupidity. What Obama's trying to do now, 0.3% of everybody that calls themselves a transgender, that's what we're looking at. So 99.7%
In the whole country.
in the whole country.
That
That's counting everybody.
include kids.
Everybody, 0.3%.
It gotta be, because I tell you, how many kids can be in the school and be dressing like a girl? I don't think it's that many. I really
You know,
don't.
peer pressure and everything else, what you go through?
Even though,
Jesus Christ.
you know, I tell you the truth,
Oh my
I have no
God.
problem with everybody identify with whatever gender they want to. But you have, and the problem with these liberals is that they only concern about their rights. They don't concern about the other person's
Well, I
rights.
think it goes deeper than that. They're concerned about dividing everybody and making turmoil and have everybody fighting against each other so that they can straighten it out. They create problems and then they're the ones that are gonna straighten it out. The problem is they never do. They just make everything worse. Because that's all they know how to do. They don't know how to straighten anything out, obviously.
Okay, I don't
So it's a
understand.
terrible situation.
I don't believe then they do have the idea of what they're doing with that, you know. You wanna come over here?
Sure. I didn't know if I was welcome yet.
Yeah, you're welcome.
How are you? Long time no see.
I know, how you doing? We got here Mike Sahara, is our guest today. Thanks to Victoria Jampa, she set it up to do that. Mike has his own website,
He has his own street.
attack everybody.
Website. He's got his own street.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing very well, Rolando.
Mike, this is Clark, Mike.
That's what's going on. You look like you got more handsome since the last time I seen you. It's been quite a while.
Well, I'm getting younger instead of
Well,
older, that's why.
I'm suing gravity and time. So if you'd like
Really?
to
Oh,
join
okay.
my class action suit, that's what I'm doing right
So, what are you up to nowadays?
now.
What is,
Well, just trying to have a little bit of influence on some of the political goings on here, and
You still doing that website thing?
Yeah, I still do the watchdogwag.com. It's still very popular because I like to make fun of everybody in both parties because they're ridiculous people.
No.
They are. I love a lot
He
of
just
them.
finished saying that.
It's just amazing to me.
You got a problem with little kids in school, males and females together taking showers? You got a problem with that? What's wrong
Well,
with
not
it?
really. I don't. I would have loved that.
Yeah,
I would
that's-
have really loved that. But
Well, maybe as a
maybe I should
male
see my
student, I
parents
don't know
do
about
too.
the female students, if they would have loved it or not.
Well, you know, the folks at Target, I don't know what their problem is, but I think people should poop at home. That's just my, that's just my thing, you know.
I know.
And the gender identity stuff is just ridiculous because, you know, if you identify as one thing one day and another thing the other, the Constitution doesn't protect that. But, you know, if you're having your hormone therapies and your surgeries.
Wait a minute, what do you mean one day is one gender and the other day? How can people change their mind that fast?
Well, that's what the verb identifying means. So, so either you are, if you're transgender, you either are or you're not. And you can go to switch and chop that bad boy off and become something else. Then maybe you should get some protections. But,
We have two transgender people in the show one day here,
oh, that had to be fun.
and it was kind of interesting, really. But I never got the answer to what I wanted to find out. Is so many different things. It's cross-dresser, it's transvestite,
right.
it's the transsexual, transgender. I don't know which one is
Oh,
who.
you forgot trans queer too, and that's a new one too. I swear that's in the lexicon now. And I want to know, first of all, does the carpeting match the drapes? Is there any carpeting at all? I don't think that, you know, if gender reassignment is covered by Medicare, Medicaid, and Obamacare, believe it or not. So if you want to change your stuff, go ahead and do that. But if you're just running around, like I enjoy mowing the lawn every once in a while in a house dress, but I don't want to seek federal protections for that. And I'm kidding, of course. But you know.
Yeah, you better explain that. But
Yeah.
I know you're kidding because I
Right.
know you,
Right.
how sarcastic you always
Oh,
write.
yeah,
But
I love to laugh at this. This is idiocy.
I want
Everybody's
to remind you,
disabled.
I want to
everybody's-
remind you that this is a serious radio show.
Well, I know. I can tell.
we
I
can't-
forgot to shave my head. I should have done that before.
Yeah.
No, we were supposed to talk today about Judge Ramsey. Right?
Yes.
She's a good lady, and I'm glad that you're a supporter of hers too. I can't believe what our friend Dave Thomas is doing to her, and Ross Miller, the failed former Secretary of State up there.
Well, you should have read my article this week.
Okay, well, I will do that, but I
did,
had
yeah.
trouble finding your location today because you didn't tell me the bag. I'm over there talking to the guy up front, he's like, oh, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, Las Vegas Tribune. Oh, yeah, okay. So, say back here. I like this view, I like this new little studio thing you got.
You mean Victoria didn't give you the right direction, the
No,
right
she didn't give me
address?
any direction. She thought that you and I have been friends for thousands of years. And we have been that, and my blog did appear in your paper version for a long time.
Yeah.
And Norm John is a mutual friend, Chuck Muth is a mutual friend, and I'm a Democrat all my life, and I've never been more ashamed to be one than I am this year. I mean, it's just ridiculous what this man.
So you are an Obama follower?
I was actually testicles to the wall
Really?
in 2008.
Was you? Really?
I really was. I'm a Chicago native. I knew Mrs. Obama long before I knew the president. He was. We thought that he was one of those kind of.
Is she really a female?
She really is, and she's
Oh,
really.
okay.
She's a nice woman, actually.
Really?
We heard today the reason for all this stuff that Obama with his pen is doing with the transgenders is because Michelle had a traumatic experience when she was in high school. In the public bathroom she went to.
And
So
she
that's
could-
the
she
reason
could
for
not
all
go
this.
to one
So
or
it
the
comes
other.
from that nice lady you're talking
That's
about,
what
Michelle.
somebody say.
That's what, it was just on the news.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I knew her as she played the piano at Democratic events in Cook County and Chicago. Her parents very upper.
What
never.
She was never proud to be anything, though.
No,
wasn't
well, she was a very good student. She was, they were part of the.
She just wasn't proud.
The quiet black middle class in Chicago, which is huge. I mean, you never see on the news anything about where Louis Farrakhan lives and Jesse Jackson lives, because there is a huge black middle class in Chicago, and they don't want anybody to know about it. They want everybody to think that everybody is destitute and on welfare, and that's just not true. And the black middle class especially does not want to know anyone to know that there is, in fact, a black middle class. And Michelle's family was part of that. How she hooked up with Obama, I don't know. He kicked out a lady called Alice Palmer. She was our card-carrying communist in the city of Chicago. You couldn't get far more left than she was. And he challenged her petitions when he first ran for public office in Illinois.
See, I thought that Donald Trump was the only person that mistreated women.
No,
Obama did too. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And an old lady too. She was 150 years old.
Oh,
And an icon. I mean, she was.
I'm glad to hear that.
She was so far to the left, and he kicked her off the ballot. And he got on, and that's how he first got elected in Illinois to lower office.
But
But he never did anything in Illinois. That's what I'm so angry at myself now in 2016 because I knew this about him. I came here in 2013. I'd known them since the 90s, and he never passed significant legislation in Illinois. His thing was to become friends with the then Republican head of the Illinois Senate named Kirk Dillard, who's a very good man and lives a couple doors away from my dad in far Republican suburban Chicago suburbs. And his thing is that he befriended him, they go to Hawaii every year. And then he gets elected president, and I was surprised he wasn't doing anything. And I'm like, wait a minute, he didn't do anything in Illinois. Oh boy. His legacy is just a terrible legacy. He couldn't work with the Democrats in my party. He couldn't work with the Republicans in the other party. He threw temper tantrums when he lost the House in 2010, and the whole world collapsed on him. He was actually throwing a tantrum on television there. It took him an hour to admit that he and his policies, or lack thereof, had done that to him. And he's just a spoiled, petulant child. He believes that he can legislate by executive fiat with all these executive orders he does, and even Eric Holder with the former Attorney General, who didn't do anything with Metro and 1.8 million people under Metro's jurisdiction here, when he sent his cops initiative here to clean up Gillespie. And you and I both love Doug Gillespie, I know. I have a shrine to him at home. He doesn't do anything to Metro here with 1.8 million people.
I'm still suffering the consequence of liking him.
I stopped crying last week.
Because I still been backboarded from Metro. I guess Joe Lombardo has orders not to make peace with me. And
has Kevin McMichael talked to you, the undersheriff?
No, I don't know him.
Oh, he's a good guy. He's probably an ex-sheriff, I hope so. Everybody tells me Joe's only a one-termer. I don't know if that he is or not, but he doesn't seem to be too excited. So I wouldn't be surprised. But Kevin McMahon's a good guy. You like him. But my point was that,
Well, maybe you can intervene so we can make peace.
Well, he talks to Norm Chan, so
He does?
He does, yeah. Norm, of course, had an illustrious career over there. He became a friend of mine in my blog in the paper.
He doesn't talk to Martinez.
No, Martinez. No, I haven't seen Martinez since he retired. I hope that nobody hit him. That nobody whacked him.
He writes in the Tribune.
I see him all the time. Gordon's a good guy. I met his niece during the campaign. But I think Gordon's issue was that in 40 years she was an employee there, and I think he waited too long to speak up. But anyway.
Well, because they got a gag order. They can talk.
Right.
They can talk. Every time they talk, they get fired. And if they get fired, they don't get retirement. Gordon is not getting a retirement.
Or they get lost in the desert. And
they deny his retirement.
Who?
Gordo Martinez.
Didn't he fight that in federal court? Is he still?
I guess he's still doing it, I don't know.
Either that or it costs a couple $100,000 to bring it to the next step. Because they took all his money away, so you don't have the money to take it to the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. I don't know how the federal courts allow this. I'm no fan of Daniel Bogdan's either. I mean, he was appointed by one president and sat for 2 terms, fired by him, and
Yeah, that's
kept on
true.
by Obama too. He's the worst United States attorney in history. What he hasn't done here, I don't care really who's elected president. I want to know who they're going to appoint as U.S. attorney here. I think that's the most important thing Nevada voters need to know about. But insofar as Metro goes, remember there's 1.8 million people under their jurisdiction. They didn't do anything for them in 2011. 2013 and 14, they slammed down hard in Little Ferguson, Missouri with 21,000 people in it. And all the weight of the Justice Department and its corrupted Civil Rights Commission. This president has been an unmitigated disaster. I'm embarrassed for him, and I'm embarrassed to be a Democrat. And I certainly can't vote for that guy in the pantsuit. What's her name? Hillary Wynette.
Well, let's go back to Las Vegas.
Okay.
Let's go back to Las Vegas because I've been neglecting Tell me a little bit about the situation with North Las Vegas and John Lee and David Thomas.
Wow.
Who is the active part over there? Is John Lee the active one, or what's his name?
Oh yeah, I know. North Las Vegas is so forgettable.
No.
No, John Lee is a pain in my butt. He's a corrupted guy. He believes that he's God's gift to Mormons and God's
David
gift to-
Thomas, that's what I was trying to remember.
Well, you know, with Kat Ramsey rather, she's a good judge. She flipped me the day she and I met. I thought that she was going to be like her predecessor, Warren Van Landshut, who's the last judge in Nevada who was not a lawyer.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
He was not a lawyer, and we allowed for that here because North Las Vegas was not a court of record back then. She's a good lady and a good judge. Her points of view are correct. All of this has to do with her not hiring Dave Thomas to run her political operations. He believes he's the judge maker. He's told people that publicly, and he's lost about 600-700 pounds, but he still walks around like he's king of the manor out there. And throws his weight around, and I'm wondering again, where's the Justice Department on this guy?
And that's the reason why I wrote that the people should not vote for the people that he represents,
Right.
because they are controlled, and I wrote it this week. I said they're not corrupted. The judges are not corrupted. What happened with those judges is they are wimps. They don't do things the way they're supposed to because they have to wait for an okay from David Thomas.
Right.
David Thomas should stay out of there. But he's not doing anything illegal either.
No, right, exactly. They have free will.
Should be illegal.
They have free wills. He's using undue influence. He's trying to get what he's attempting to do. Now, this is what I hate about this guy. He's of course the husband of Nancy Elf. He's always been suspected of being an abuser. I saw the bruises under her arms in 2006 during this sheriff's race. During that, they've never confirmed or denied that. I love her. She's a nice lady. But the problem with David is that he plays both sides against the middle. He claims to be the God's gift to Democrats, and he actually was one of the founding members of our Democratic Lawyers Caucus here in Clark County. But then he hires 2 of the worst Democrats in state history to run his Republican operations here secretly, surreptitiously. And that was Yvette and her husband, Damone Williams. Formerly, Yvette and Damone Williams. They just showed up one day in 2008 with Obama, and they commandeered the Clark County Black Caucus, took all the money and ran, walked around in the Afrocentric dashikis and things like that, and it took 2 years to kick him out of the party. And Dave Thomas hired them both to run his fake polling operations for his judges. And I talked to all the judges. I know all his candidates, and they're good people. And I'm like, why are you indulging this guy? He has no talent. And the only one who's actually fired him, was Judge Ellsworth. She's like, my third grade grandson could do better than this. She was right. So she's, of course, got my undying support from that. But he has ingratiated himself into the system. He wants appointed judges. That's his whole goal. He does not like the idea that we have the choice to elect judges.
Who's that? David Thomas?
Oh, yeah, that's
He wants to appoint the judges? How are he gonna make the money? Every one of those judges give him $2,500 a month.
Well, if he can appoint him, they'll give him $5,000.
Right, exactly, right. So if you take the ballot access away from the voters, where his candidate could potentially lose, that's much more comfortable for him, and still he's got his money going. They believe, the progressive extremists in my party believe that the ballot box is the worst place for any idea. They want to make the decisions for all of us. Yeah. And they've overtaken my party. This is since the Clinton years.
It's not a very good recommendation of the two candidates that you all put up this time.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm
They
terrible.
put up one to make one look good, and goddamn, they're almost winning. Or they would be winning if it wasn't for the fix.
Exactly. And like with Bernie Sanders, he's what,
74?
700s, something like that. Yeah. I'd be very interested in who his vice presidential choice was. But the standard bearer was supposed to be Elizabeth Warren. She appeals to a lot of my lefty points of view too, and all of a sudden they shut her up, and now she's part of it. I don't see that Hillary Clinton can name anybody else but Elizabeth Warren as vice president.
So two women?
No, right, exactly. Who would share a ticket with her? Everybody keeps on talking about who wants to share a ticket.
Bernie Sanders.
He's a card-carrying communist socialist. The only
Doesn't matter to Hillary.
in Detroit, in Vermont.
Because if he doesn't take Bernie Sanders, his votes are going to go to Trump.
That's what I'm going to be recommending to my readers for the rest of the year, that those Bernie Sanders voters should hold their nose and vote for Trump. We can flush the Clintons forever. That's how you do it. We did it with Ross Perot in 1992. They were really
Ross Perot did it to himself.
Well, he did, but he was such a little guy. But he didn't like George H.W. Bush, and he took 20 million votes away from him, and we got President Clinton.
Twice.
So
never would have been president.
But there were some good things that happened out of there. Newt Gingrich pulled the best move that any politician had done in the last century with his contract for America. He jammed that through in the first couple of hours. He knew his members would get wobbly. He bended a United States sitting president to his will. He got it welfare reform. He got a whole bunch of other things through because Clinton was a putz. And he passed the contract. When we passed health care, which was an unmitigated disaster, barely passing, we didn't even have a bill written. I mean, the president didn't even champion the legislation named for him or nicknamed for him. He would not put his neck out on the line for it, which is good because it's crap. But he let lobbyists and the industry write the bill, and it's the worst piece of legislation in American history. Just the worst piece. And right now, I'm trying to get them to pass Medicare military, so we can close down the VA and stuff like that instead. The whole government is just completely broken, in my opinion. So.
Where are you in there? I don't see you in there.
I'm not. I can't keep up with you two. You're way too handsome. You know, I hate to be last place.
No.
We need liquor. That's what we need. Liquor and fried chicken.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can fit all three in there.
So how do you think he doesn't have anybody? Oh yeah, he got Annette Levy, and that race with Kathy Ramsey. Is Johnson? I thought he was running Johnson's campaign, but Johnson's campaign manager called me and told me I was wrong. So David Thomas has Annette Levy.
Okay, now you and I are friends with Monty Levy too. I liked her. She ran 2 years ago. She's not on the ballot this time.
Who?
Monty Levy.
Monty Levy, yeah.
I liked her a lot.
Yeah, she's not running this time.
No.
you know.
I'm glad to see more candidates running this time. You know, the tried and true are, of course, the incumbents are running. And I'm not sure where I stand on Miss Marshall, Judge Marshall. She's got some problems with this domestic violence issue, that guy that killed people. I don't judge, the judge, isn't it? Judge
Donald, can you close my office door, please?
That was Jesus.
Yeah, that's his son. Marcia has a problem with.
Well, she, I guess she okayed bail for domestic violence guy. No, I'm thinking Tobias, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Tobias,
that wasn't
not Marshall.
Yeah.
No, Marshall actually is a pretty good judge. I've secret shot through courtroom.
Yeah, I
number of
know.
times. She's pretty good.
She's been in this radio show, and let me tell you, I wrote. You need to read the editorial about Tobias, and I believe that. I don't know why they are attacking her now, because she's not running. She doesn't have a campaign to win or to lose. But the problem is that the people are tired of having the prosecutors telling the judges what to do from the bench. And now that you have a judge like her that said, hey, wait a minute, don't tell me what I need to do. I'm going to put the fifth, because that's what the law said. That's what we need to go by the law, you know.
Sure, she's from Nevada?
Yeah.
You're going by the law? A judge in Nevada going by the law?
But she's a justice court.
That's a
She's
new
not.
concept.
Justice court. Justice court.
Right.
You know.
Justice court says, let's make a deal and let's screw the.
But the people, the prosecutors are used to tell. So now, because she didn't listen to the prosecutor, now the prosecutors start instigating and putting stuff into the newspaper that they have it over there in the same building. You know, I've never been able to understand why the Review Journal and Las Vegas Sun, which don't write nothing about the court, have an office over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they really, the DA's office did go into a really defensive mode there.
You're on the air, Radio Tribune.
Hey, I'm calling in to speak to Orlando and Mike.
Okay, go ahead. What do you got?
Hey.
You're on the air.
We're here.
Oh, this is Norm John from Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Oh, good Lord.
Hey, no.
Don't you have a call screening device or something here? Good morning, Sergeant, Captain, Chief. How are you, sir?
Hi, how are you?
Very good.
I didn't know you listened to our radio show. That's nice.
Well, I had a little bird told me there was going to be a couple important people on today, so I put it on my phone and I listened to the first part of the show, and I thought I'd call in about now.
Yeah, we always have two important people, me and Clark.
And today, me, Norm, it's
You know,
good to hear you.
now I'm glad you called, because somebody was calling for you today. They want me to
Is that right?
They want me to transfer you to. They called to your office, and I said, well, he's not here. You can email him. His email address is at the bottom of the column. And she says,
Okay.
thank you.
Well, how's it going out there in Las Vegas?
Well, we're waiting for you to come back.
Yeah, I'm going to run your sheriff's campaign in 2018. You know that, don't you?
That's almost what I wrote about this past week. Would I do it again? Be a police officer or be a police chief? I've never been a sheriff. But I certainly would be a police officer again. But I wrote, I'd avoid leaving Las Vegas to go to Wisconsin like I did in 1997. That was kind of a bad move.
That was, and you can't keep...
Well, no, I don't think it was a bad move. If you would have stayed here, you would have been in jail.
I hope I wouldn't have been in jail, but I probably wouldn't have moved any further than I moved, because that's the way the system works sometimes.
Gillespie loves you so
A
much.
feeling when you've reached the end of your line.
Well, any appointed position, of course, serves at whoever appointed you. So we've got a big, huge problem down in Boulder City now. What they did to Chief Conger, I think, was reprehensible. Our friend Captain Larry Burns tried for that job. He did not get it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
no, he did not. That's from George Knapp. They haven't made it official yet. But that's a beautiful, lovely little picturesque town with 30 officers, all Mormons, and it's somehow legal here. So, you know, and this Finn guy who runs the joint down there, and the contracts, the pinstripe patronage and stuff in tiny little Boulder makes that, I think, the most corrupt town in Las Vegas, even more corrupt than North Las Vegas and the city of Las Vegas itself. But why don't you throw your hat down in Boulder City? Are you Mormon? Are you LDS? Norm, I don't even know that about you. I never ask those kind of questions.
I'm German and Methodist.
So that means you are a German Methodist. You must be a Hillary Clinton fan, because she is a pain
Oh,
in
no,
the ass
oh,
in
no.
Methodist.
Come on, say it, speak up, Norm. Are you or you're not?
All the way with Trump for me.
Good, I'm
I
glad
am
to
too.
hear
I
that.
am too. I'm going to try in my future writings in the coming weeks to talk the Bernie Sanders people to hold their nose and vote for him. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I really don't. I think he's kind of delusional in how he'll get around to Congress, but I'd love to see him try. You know, we've never elected a corporate titan in America to the presidency, and
I got a big sign of Trump in my desk because I used to put him outside in the door and the people keep stealing it. So now I put it in my desk. When are you going to come to Las Vegas?
Well, maybe in June. We're working on a trip out there. I haven't been back in 4 years, and that's the plan. But speaking of Trump, I think he's able to, you know, say what he says because he is an outsider. And when you look at Las Vegas Metro Clark County Sheriff elections, I mean, there's been a few insiders, Lori Bish, Gordon Martinez, Larry Burns retired or when he was about to run, Ted Moody, you know, quit abruptly after that use of force board incident with Roston.
Yeah.
But most of the people that have to have the independence to speak out are outsiders, like way back to Arola. Actually, Ron Williams was still an insider, but, you know, they all took a risk.
right, Ron, and I
That's what
ran
goes
Ron's
on.
race, and Ron was a
When
good
it was an
man.
insider, and Trump, of course, he's stirred up a lot of emotion, and he stirred up a lot of ideas because he doesn't worry about getting fired by the Republican Party. He's standing on his own 2 feet, and I think this needs to be fixed, or I don't like this, and I do like that, and that's what...
So what's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that. That's
Well,
why
it upsets
he's
the
only
status
afraid
quo.
to run for sheriff in Las Vegas, because if they're on the department, they're going to face some consequences. I mean, Bill Conger ran once. You know, you look back at all the, Bobby Gronauer recently ran, but you look at the people that have run for sheriff, and those who are no longer employees of Metro can speak out. Those who still have to get a paycheck and get a retirement and get retirement credentials have to watch what they say, unless they want to, you know, cover themselves with political retaliation. I know that's been an issue sometimes. Dave O'Leary, Captain O'Leary, just received a Employment Management Relations Board decision in his favor after that helicopter ride for the Guns N' Roses guitarist.
Right, and he's
And,
back on
you know,
on duty.
That leveled the playing field a little bit because the EMRB said Metro is full of crap.
And that was the very first time I think that they had ever done that. They didn't do that with you, they should have. It's an amazing place to observe as a civilian. And you are a good cop, and it's my pleasure to know you, Norm, it really is.
Well, I like to read your blog too, Mike. That's another example of how the little people have a voice, not with the main media, of course, but I'm sure you get a lot of tips and a lot of complaints, and people can report things to the Tribune or to the Watchdog, and
Well, look what happened to John Smith, because he wrote what he felt. I don't agree with what he writes, but I think he got the right to write it.
I think that John Smith kind of chickened out too fast. I would have just changed Sheldon's name to Shirley, or something like that, and kind of, hinted around at the corners out of it. John's got a sense of humor. I'm surprised he didn't use it. I think he was just offended by Sheldon's ownership.
You're friends with him, don't you know?
Oh, yeah.
With who?
With John Smith?
No, not at all. I've written to him a couple of times because he was pretty hard on Lance Malone back in the day, and everybody has their bridge to cross, and eventually, he got in some of his own trouble with driving arrest, and then, of course, now he's made the decision to quit the RJ. But sometimes a little guy needs a place to broadcast their information, and I've written to George Knapp, and I've written to Mary Jane Morrison, or Mary Ann Morrison, and I've written
Jane Ann.
Jane Ann Morrison.
Jane Ann,
They don't
she's the
relay
oldest
the
living
information.
reporter on the planet.
What do you mean they don't relay the information?
Well, for example, what's a cop got to do to get fired around here? John L. Smith wrote a story about that once, about the officers that went to Arizona
Right.
on duty.
Right.
Brian Yant, the shooting. And George Knapp always has his investigative reports. And they're not the most important issues at Metro. They rise to the surface of interest, but there are even more important issues that they avoid. They know who has the power to make their life miserable, and if you get into a real sensitive area like vice investigations or police officers have been fired for crossing the street, they've never once written about my departure from Metro, and it's almost been, it'll be 4 years, it'll be 5 years this November that I got fired during my testimony in federal court during November 17th. I was on the witness stand in federal court on a big robbery series, and I happened to get lucky enough to make the traffic stop when they made a turn in front of me that was illegal, and they did 10 or 12 robberies, and one of the guys is in prison for 237 years. But I went to the witness stand, I got relieved for lunch, I got a phone call from my attorney that I was fired by Gillespie. I went back and told the U.S. attorney and the judge, everybody was informed what was happening. They already knew prior to the trial, but at noon I was fired, and I went back on the witness stand, and the proudest moment of my career, ironically, was to have the defense attorney ask me, isn't it true, Sergeant John, that the only reason you're here today testifying is because you want your job back with Metro, because you were just fired at noon? And I said, I never want to work for Metro again, and I haven't had a hearing or any review of this termination. I'm here to testify because I made a traffic stop a couple of years ago. So, there's enough people that know what happened, and that my conduct does not even compare to the misconduct of so many others who kept their jobs, like Charles Hank, domestic violence, multiple divorces, bankruptcy.
Other
people have drunk driving, drugs, prescription drugs, painkillers. There's a whole history of lieutenants and captains and sergeants.
Did you hear that?
Anyway, it is what it is.
Norm, did you hear that Deputy Chief Hank is going to be promoted next month?
I did hear that rumor, and I won't believe it until I see it.
That's mine too. I'm kind of praying to Jesus, like a candle and everything.
Why not?
He's just, first of all, he's unqualified and undeserving of promotion.
To what? To be on the sheriff?
To be
assistant sheriff?
Assistant sheriff. He's going as allegedly be assistant sheriff over the jail. I think he should be in jail, but what he did to his ex-wives is just reprehensible, and that he slipped through the cracks. He got no jail time. He's the deputy chief now over the airport bureau, and the woman he beat, his wife of 18 years, mother of his 2 children, is a highly regarded employee at Southwest Airlines, our largest carrier there. He should not be anywhere in that airport unless he's getting out of the airport.
But Norm, do you remember when to be at the airport, it was a punishment for the people from Metro? And now it's
every other city in the world.
Now it's a promotion.
Right. Every other city Yeah, the sons and daughters of the politicians all worked at the airport and stuff. Here it's purgatory or hell.
No, do you remember that show you did with Gordon Martinez? What was it, an hour and a half or something like that? A few.
Yes, I was in Missouri and I was.
Do you remember the
on
date?
the radio show with him.
Do you remember the date? Because I've been trying to run that show again, and I can't find the show.
Well, I can look it up and get back to you. I don't recall.
I would like to. I would like to have the show. Martinez don't remember either, but you know, Martinez is always in his own world. You know, I
I
love.
just made a note. I'll look it up and I'll get back to you.
What do you do in Missouri when you go down there? Are you starting trouble in Ferguson and stuff, Norm? Are you?
I was close. I stayed up all night, or most of the night, 2 or 3 nights in a row, watching the live feeds from the helicopters and all the damage and destruction. They were setting fires to new car lots. They go from one car to the next one, setting it on fire, just out of control. And
Well, Black
it's
Lives
hard to
Matter
believe
just
at the
never
time.
forget that.
You know, we didn't know the result of the Michael Brown shooting. I initially thought this does not sound good, shooting a guy multiple times in the back when he's running away, which is the initial story that everybody got. And then when you find out that a gunshot was fired while they struggled for the gun at the car, there was DNA, there was blood. You know, Darren Wilson could have waited for backup, possibly, and that's the way that the police should look at these things nowadays. How could we have avoided that broad daylight, middle of the road shooting? But
it's a two-way street too, Norm. I mean,
he didn't gun the guy down. He didn't execute him, not even close.
right. And you know the perpetrator's blood inside of the black and white. That kind of convinced me there. And when Eric Holder told the nation that there wasn't enough evidence to indict, there's either evidence to indict or there's not. That just lit the flames, and I would have.
Well, no, let me ask you something, because you know, I'm sure you know that I'm 86 from the Metro headquarters. I'm not allowed to be there. And I thought it was going to be different with Lombardo there, but I guess Gillespie, your brother Gillespie, ordered him not to make peace with me. How do you rate Metro right now under this new administration?
Ooh, I want to hear that too.
Well, they're failing. You know, they can promise transparency all day long, and they still selectively release video from body cameras, or even the most recent shooting where the guy got in the police officer's car. They didn't have body camera video that we know of. They had a surveillance camera from the apartment complex, which shows an officer chasing the bad guy. The bad guy gets in the police officer's car. The shotgun should be locked in the car. They say that he was trying to get to the shotgun. The officer shoots from outside the car into the car, when he should know that nobody can access his shotgun if it's properly locked. And then he almost gets run over. I believe I remember the officer, and I'm glad he didn't get hurt. But the shootings, their claim to fame, and they have some national reputation right now that they've promoted themselves as a national role model for constitutional policing and restraint and reality-based training. And I've talked to some professors in other states that believe that. Oh, Metro is a national model for reducing deadly force. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? You know how many females the SWAT team has killed with multiple snipers shooting at the same time? You know, 1, 2, 3 different cases I can think of, which either involve SWAT or, you know, Charmel Edwards is a woman that briefly went to Michigan State. I have never met her, don't even know about her, but she was surrounded by officers. She was shot by 5 officers, I think 3 shotguns, a handgun, and I mean, when you read the autopsy report from Metro's website, it looks like she was blown apart in a war. And all she did is fumbled, trying to hold a gun in her hand as she drunkenly got out of a car after she'd been barricaded. So, you know, anyway, the most important thing is deadly force, of course, and trust is declining, morale is horrible. I occasionally hear from people that say, this is unbelievable. The recent one is the gang unit has, you know, Lombardo says the gang unit still exists. And then the Police Protective Association puts out on their website or Facebook, one or the other, that's just a plain lie. They were decentralized. The functioning gang unit doesn't exist anymore. And so they say it's under control. Crime is not under control. It's 64 murders at least, and then a body in the trunk the other day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whose body was that, Norm? I know that was your trunk.
And we only have, 5 months out of the year, we got 64 homicides.
Well,
Right.
right, in my hometown of Chicago is tracking towards 500 homicides this year. And the FBI director, the new guy, I can't remember his name, he's like, well, I'm really concerned. Well, that's nice that you're really concerned, but why don't you call Black Lives Matter the hate group it is, so these little SOBs stop their terrorist sprees all around the United States, because it's just not Las Vegas, which has seen a spike in crime. All the 40 major urban areas in the United States have. And it's ever since Trayvon Martin, ever since Ferguson, this is the United States Department of Justice fanning these flames. And they're a part of it too. And
yeah, it's like the guy then is said then Hillary Clinton said then the FBI is just doing a political inquiry. And the FBI, security inquiry. And
Hillary, right?
yeah, and the FBI director, which he was appointed by Obama, said, we don't do inquiry here, we do investigation, and he's been investigated.
she's just such a treasure.
An example of what needs to happen is, in San Francisco, their police chief's about to lose his job.
Good.
A police chief...
Yeah, because I think they run out of skirts.
Well, there's been a couple controversial shootings, and he's taking the heat, and that's what happens. When you're a chief, either the city manager, the city council, the mayor, somebody can fire you. Just like Chicago, McCarthy lost his job there after the McDonald's shooting. But so what doesn't happen with sheriff's departments is the exact same. I mean, Joe Lombardo could have 2.5 more years of horrible crime rate, distractions and deception of the public and cover-ups and everything else, and he still holds his job until the election. And so that's the difference between a sheriff and a police chief. There's a whole lot more accountability.
Right.
Or there seems to be a whole lot more accountability when a city can hire and fire a police chief, rather than waiting for all the voters in Las Vegas to try to get together and make a decision on setting a new direction for Metro. Lombardo's a shoulder tap sheriff, tap, 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 and now I hear Todd Fastulo is positioning himself to try to be the next sheriff.
I know you're happy about that, Norman. No.
Yeah, I'm real happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Todd's the one that said I crossed the street and lied about it, so I lost my whole career over that.
Yeah, just for crossing the street. I tell people that and they don't believe me. Every time I talk to somebody about that, I said, I know a guy that lost his job because he crossed the street, and they don't believe me. But let me ask you something, Norm, do you think that we need the gang unit is really important in Las Vegas?
Well, it sure is now. All the Los Angeles or the California gang members.
Yeah.
I don't know how factual that claim is that they're letting people out of prison and they're coming directly to Las Vegas. But you have to have, just like Vice, the pimps, the prostitutes, the gangs, you have to have people that are knowledgeable, that can remember who's who. It's intelligence gathering. It's almost like fighting terrorism. You have to know who the players are, and if you just allow a regular street cop to go on a call and take a report and check the box gang-related or maybe gang-related, they're not going to usually have all the information they need to follow up. So certainly a dedicated gang unit to follow up and also to be proactive. That means go out there and get them. We used to patrol Gerson Park and Sherman Gardens back in Bobby Gronauer's days,
Oh, boy.
created a team that went right into the public housing projects. We had offices right inside and built trust with the people, the good people, and knew who the bad guys were. And that was a game turf. And we played the GPK, we had a basketball game once against the GPKs in Doolittle Center. And anyway, so yes, there's a need for a gang unit. It might get too big at times. I don't know what the numbers were. They're considered an elite unit. A lot of the regular cops say, hey, SWAT team, gang unit, all you fancy pants people get to do all this special stuff. So there's a little bit of turf battle and animosity, but for the public, to keep the public safe, you have to have experts that are assigned to those types of, crimes.
Well, Norm, here in Las Vegas, since you've been gone, especially since Lombardo got elected and disbanded the gang unit, they're very, very good at their own PR. They've been kind of leaking and dropping all over in Facebook, in letters to the editor, that we would not have 64 murders today if gang crimes was still together. And so you're left with saying, well, wait a minute. Do you mean that you're laying down now, or are you saying that we have only 4 murders or whatever? It doesn't really sound good coming out of them, and it's them. It sounds like, well, wait a minute, we're the ones who are supposed to be solving this. We're the better officers than the rest of the officers. And you can read it in RJ's letters to the editor. Those people like you comment there. I don't think it really serves the whole issue very well. This is a national problem and certainly a regional problem here, and we're down 450 officers because this chairman of the Clark County Board just hacked the crap out of Metro because that was their way of firing Doug Gillespie.
Well, Bill Sousa, professor at UNLV, is often quoted as an academic, researcher. And you don't stop murders.
Right. It's
you don't
crimes of
stop
passion.
murders, even domestic violence murders. I mean, of those 64, there's a certain number of them that are because of emotions and domestic violence, and somebody got caught cheating or whatever. There's a certain number of them that are involving gangs, but you can't prevent them. They're driving down the street, they run into each other, and they shoot at each other.
Bang, bang.
There's the least likely crime that you can stop by having cops driving around in police cars is murder. You can stop robberies and burglaries by flooding the neighborhoods and following up and stopping. I mean, once the shots are fired, it's over. Then it comes down to, did you solve the crime? Can you solve the crime and put the guy in jail before he commits kills anybody else? But, you don't see that in the newspapers. I mean, if I was Joe Lombardo, I'd be up there saying, the buck stops with me. I don't have a way to stop murders. Call every expert in the United States, every academic, the FBI and everybody else, and tell me if anybody has a magic pill to stop murders. That's a tough one. Stop.
Lord.
I stop. You see?
Yeah, I mean, people get emotional, they hurt each other. It's gone on forever. And there's a story in the paper today about the guy that killed the 2 girls, Omar Talley, killed 2 girls over behind the Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
That was because they had to look at each other and pimping and hoeing or whatever it was, and before long there's shots fired, people thrown out of the car. That one's not going to be stopped by a uniformed officer unless he is right on top of it.
Norman, you're so right about Vice here, and you're writing about it, and your opinions and your points of view. I think we're the best contribution to our friendship. You helped me understand Metro so much better. And they had Lieutenant Spencer from Vice in one of the 2 papers in the last couple of days or so. And she seems to be bringing a lot of things out more than certainly Lieutenant.
I hope she does a great job. I mean, there's been a decade or more of just wasted time by, no direction, no focus. They didn't want any help from patrol officers. When I was on the strip with 8 to 10 to 12 officers working with me on the strip on Graveyard, Vice wanted nothing to do with us. They would get mad, complain about me virtually every day. If my guys have to go to Caesar's Palace because $10,000 has been stolen from a Citibank employee from New York City, my officers just can't drive away and say, wait till Vice gets here.
Right.
And so they take the report and they call around and say, does anybody know who this girl might be? This blonde-haired Asian female?
I'm hoping that it gets better, John.
By looking at the videos,
Well, John Hayes is retired, you know that, right?
Who's Brett Favre? Who's Jim McMahon? You have to be around a while to know they were all
Jim
quarterbacks.
McMahon, you know who he is? Wait a minute, you're a Packer, you're a cheesehead.
Well, McMahon was okay.
Do you know that John Hayes retired, and of course you know that Karen retired?
I heard he retired.
Do you miss Karen?
I can hear the emotion in his voice.
The good news is that probably a month or so after she was fired at the Wynn, I had people calling and telling me that the security director at the Wynn is no longer there. I said, oh really, what happened? Well, I was told that they said, fire your assistant, who is a former Metro deputy chief. And she either did or didn't, or would or wouldn't, and they both walked out the door. And so I didn't cry, but that's not the first person at the Wynn that didn't last more than a year.
Well, he's not.
I wonder why.
He's a hard guy to work for. I'm told.
Right. Well, when I went to Shawano, Wisconsin to be a police chief, I found out that I was the internal affairs director, human resources manager, the budget officer, everything all in one. You do everything because you don't have any help.
Right.
So in Metro, you can conceal your weaknesses to an extent because you have all kinds of specialists and experts and support people. And when you're going to a new hotel like the Venetian, I remember once, you got to be Greg McCurdy, I think, recently had to get involved when he got hired, ordering uniforms. When you're starting up a security company or a proprietary organization like SLS, here you are, the security director or vice president of security, and you're filling out order forms for how many uniforms you need, because you're starting all from the bottom.
Is that what McCurdy is doing?
Well, McCurdy, what he did, he originally put them in. They looked like Turkish like dancers or coffee makers in Istanbul or something. I don't know what kind of look they were going for. But I'm like, you're security? Because it looks like you're my valet or something, or the guy who's vacuuming me to go all over.
Anyway, there's a lot of skills that you really have to have to do a security director or security chief job, and sometimes they're exposed, and it's a private. You can get hired and fired by Steve Wynn or Sheldon Adelson or whoever the boss might be, and you don't have a union to protect you. You don't have much of any job security, so the turnover is pretty high, But there's still people that mind their P's and Q's during their career with Metro. They don't speak out because they want that career after Metro. And if I would have stayed in Las Vegas after I got fired, I guarantee you I would have been blackballed for virtually every job, except maybe they would have hired me back at the Orleans where I worked once before I got hired back on Metro. They have the power to just roll their eyes when a background investigator comes in. And I know other officers who've been fired for things that are so unbelievable. And they lost their job, their insurance, their retirement. They don't get their badge, their retirement credentials. That hurts people as much as more than you can imagine. There are Debbie Gauthier and people like her that 25, 28 years, whatever, on the job, and all of a sudden they lose their job due to some trumped up, politically driven argument, and they're told to leave, and they don't have any evidence that they honorably retired from their career. No crime. Debbie Gauthier was preaching or speaking, talking religion. I crossed the street. Dakota Elmazon excused himself from a restaurant, and John Hayes made it a Supreme Court case that he'd blown the cover of an undercover squad. Just some outrage. Another officer had the night off, and he went out with his girlfriend, and he was supposed to be home babysitting, and the mother of his child found out that he had got the night off, and anyway, he got into trouble because he tried to make it look like he was on duty, but he was really off duty. And they go on and on.
Well, Norm, it's been lovely talking to you this afternoon.
Well, thank you, and you guys keep up the good work. You know, the irony is, years ago, I used to bring the Las Vegas Tribune, maybe El Mundo, the Sentinel Voice. I would get various magazines, newspapers at the 7-Eleven store before I drive out to my class at College of Southern Nevada.
Do you read Spanish?
Sure. Well, I don't speak Spanish, but I could read the headlines. I'd hold them up in front of my classes, and I'd say, hey, I'm a police officer teaching criminal justice.
Well, let us know when you're back up in town here. You said in June you may come up here.
Yeah, and don't lose the habit of calling once in a while. You know, I've been trying to get you to call in my show, but I guess you only call in Martinez's show, you know.
That was over a year ago, but I'll pay more attention. And I will come and visit you both. I've never met either one of you. It's kind of crazy. People think we're all like drinking buddies, I suppose.
Yeah.
We've never met in person.
And we're all unbelievably handsome guys. That's what I can't believe.
I know, and I hear and I tell you, I hear a lot of good things about you, believe it or not. You know.
I hope to meet you guys, and I really appreciate you giving a voice to people like me.
Thank you, Norman.
Thank you.
You too, buddy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
So that was Norm Jan, right? Jan.
John.
Yeah.
J-A-H-N.
Okay, so do you want to keep going, Mr. Producer, until the half an hour? And we do an hour and a half show because
Let me pull my
that would
laptop
be,
up. I need to pull my laptop up.
that's, we only got 10 minutes past the hour. Mr. Producer,
Whatever you want to do.
I don't know, you're the producer, you Mr. Producer,
Fine,
Mr.
I don't care.
Lavin.
Go ahead.
Mr. Lavin.
If your guest has more to say, because you know.
Oh, he had plenty to say, believe me.
That call itself took
He
half an
had
hour.
plenty to
whatever.
say.
Yeah, it don't matter. Otherwise, you play music.
Yeah, no, I'd rather do something for the community. And
it going.
it's like I said yesterday, we need to do the best that we can do for this country, and we need to make sure that we don't have any of the people that are running for office that are controlled by Harry Reid.
Oh, I'm so happy he's leaving.
No, he's not leaving. He's not leaving. That's why I keep saying. You know, he got Cortez Masto. He got Ruben Kewin. You know, he got all these Spanish tokens that he control and manipulate, and he's gonna stay. That's why we need to get these people off. They cannot win the election. They cannot win the election, because if they win the election, they are going to, we're going to have Harry Reid making the ruling. We're going to have Harry Reid calling the shots.
Well,
That's the way I feel. It's the same thing I said with David Thomas. Do not elect David Thomas. And I got good people over there like Susan Backham and
I love her.
You know, but unfortunately they are. And Joe Harry was here and he said the only reason I hired David Thomas is because I want to win. You know. Well, if you cannot win by your qualification and your knowledge of the law, then you don't need to be a judge.
Right.
That's the way it is.
Joe Hardy and I get along very well too. I like him very much. I like to talk to him. You're right. He would have won all by himself. It's the intimidation. It's the threats. Because I know more than you do. Dave
And,
Thomas.
and it's not because they're not gonna win. What happened is that then David Thomas, if you know, he did it with another judge that I'm not gonna mention name because I don't wanna put her in a more predictable, unpredictable issues. But what he do is he put people to run against those good people that doesn't want to be controlled by him.
Right.
That's what it is. And then they're gonna have to start raising money, and they're gonna have to start running a campaign that otherwise they didn't need to run it.
He was a lobbyist in Arizona and an attorney, a lizard lawyer, lizard.
Who, Joe?
No, Dave Thomas. He was an attorney in Arizona and a lobbyist down there, and it was a lobbyist here when I first met him.
You need to get close to the mic.
He's just bad for politics in this town, just bad. I think he doesn't have any talent either. But
Well,
that's just me.
what can be done to avoid to have him get so much power?
Well,
I don't see anybody in the legislation doing any kind of a bill that prohibit him because he's not, he cannot be prohibited to do what
Right,
he do.
right.
He's making a living.
and these
You know.
people have a free will. They used to go to Gary Gray long ago. There are other, of course, he's passed now, and
But look what happened now with Harmony Leticia. Okay, Tom Leticia's daughter is running, and who's running the campaign? David Thomas. Now, how can you manage that? How can you assimilate that? You know, Tom Leticia, which is another blackmailer, you know, like David Thomas, and that kid doesn't know anything about the law.
she looks like she's 12 years old.
She looks like a showgirl. I saw that sign this morning when I was coming. You know, that fluffy hair, you know. I mean,
I didn't know Dave Thomas is running her stuff.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Why isn't Tom running? Her dad is just, I thought her dad was the king here and learning Carolyn Goodman.
he was, and well, that's all he did. But
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
he won San Antonio for the guy who won the mayor's office there.
Yeah.
And he thinks that's.
Yeah, and I think he's doing some car dealings out of town. He's spending more time out of town now than he is. You know.
I don't look at people's CCs until.
And you're on the air? Hello? Well, I guess he didn't like my voice.
No?
You know, so no problem with that.
So this
no,
is your new gigs, huh?
Yeah, it is.
How long have you been here?
About a year.
Nice little house.
Yeah, it's but we need to have people to start voting for anybody that is not controlled by David Thomas. I keep saying that every day. That guy has to be put out of business. That's all I wanted to do, even if it's the last thing I do. I don't like the guy, and unfortunately, he got people like Steve Sampson that fight with him, and then because he wants to have his new protege to become a judge, you know, a woman that had just moved in from California, Annette Levy, Annette, A-N-A-T, Annette, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Annette Levy.
What is that? What is her nationality? She.
I don't know, I never met her. She just moved here 6 months ago.
And she wants to be a judge, huh?
She wants to be a judge, and she doesn't want to be in Muni Court or Justice Court. She want to go to
Right to district, huh?
yeah, and then she wanted Kathy Ramsey to teach her the ropes, and then she run against Kathy Ramsey on Department 20.
That David's fingerprints are all over that. Judge Ramsey is a good woman, a good judge, and it's because she wouldn't hire him that this whole convoluted.
And also
story-
because John Lee was upset because she didn't want to take orders from him.
Right.
She didn't have to. She's an elected official, you know, and I believe that that was one of the reasons. And he was mad because she didn't want to turn in the money from the court to the city.
Right, right.
That money was the court, and they have to realize that and then this Douglas lady, whatever her name is, Morgan, she's the city attorney there now, you know.
Oh, there's a new one, yeah.
Yeah, she blackmailed the mayor by, she didn't want to sign the bench warrant because she was not confirmed as a city attorney. So Kathy Ramsey said, I cannot enforce those arrest warrants because they're not signed by anybody. And she said, I'm not going to put my name in there because I'm only a temporary city attorney. Make me a city attorney. So she wanted to be the city attorney, and now she wanted to take Ramsey's place. She's running for North Las Vegas judge.
It's amazing how bad it is.
And all manipulated by Ross Miller and David Thomas.
And I'm wondering where the U.S. Attorney is on this. The U.S. Attorney's Office has the ability and the right and the responsibility to investigate local corruption. Local politicians.
But what corruption can be in there between Ross Miller and David Thomas?
Well, why is Ross Miller involved? Ross Miller is an attorney himself.
Yeah.
He sat for 2 terms as our Secretary of State. He didn't do anything up there.
Nothing.
We put 40,000.
The only thing he did is raise the
LLC.
the business license. You know.
He thinks he's going to be governor again after 2018. I'd like to see Stavros Anthony on the ballot in 2018. I'm so disappointed in Brian Sandoval, and I can't.
Why?
You know,
Why are you disappointed?
with this margins 2.0 tax and all this, all these Republicans who
But
passed-
Sandoval is not a Republican.
Brian Sandoval.
No.
No, what is he?
He's a Harry Reid puppet.
Okay.
That's what he is.
Okay, I
He's
forgot.
not even a rhino. He's a Harry Reid puppet.
I-
Every job Sandoval has, he owes to Harry Reid. Assembly, Attorney General, judge, federal judge, and when Harry Reid wanted him to run for governor, pulled the string, brought it down from a bench, from a federal bench.
Lifetime
I never
appointment.
seen that before. Never.
Lifetime appointment. He says, no, I want to be governor. It's terrible.
And now he said he doesn't want to be in the Supreme Court.
Well,
You know, because he knew that it was not going to be any appointment to the Supreme Court until Obama don't step down from the presidency. You know, whoever it is, it doesn't make any difference. You know, so I don't see any reason why do that. But no, I don't believe that Sandoval is doing any good for the state of Nevada. No.
his last 2 years should be, they should just remove.
This is the first time that Sandoval has a job that he ended up doing the term.
The whole term?
Yeah.
Yes, you're right, no.
Yeah, he ran for the second, and we don't even know if he's going to finish the second term.
Right, because he wants this Hutchinson guy to be the next governor.
Who?
Well, he wants Mark Hutchinson to be the next governor, but Harry Reid wants Dean Howard.
Where are you going?
I'm putting I can't get my signal in here. I'm not going
What do you mean you cannot get your signal in here?
I can't get my laptop to come up.
Oh.
So I'm putting it here.
Well, you see what happened when you come late? You didn't have time to ask for the password.
Right, exactly.
You know, but I think Mr. Producer can give you the password.
Oh, he can, huh?
Mr. Producer, can you give him the password?
You up there?
No, I'm still on the air.
We're on the air for another.
Another 10 minutes. Another 10 minutes. So, let me ask you, what is your opinion of the twins? What's her name? Victoria Seaman and Michelle
Michelle?
Fiore.
We're all friends. I have some issues with Michelle and her Bundy stuff.
Why?
Because I don't think an assemblywoman should be doing federal land issues with a guy who hasn't paid his grazing fees in his entire life and lost, the court.
Yeah, but why now? Why they want the fee now?
Well,
Why? Because your friend Harry Reid won that land. That's why.
Is that one of those?
Solar things. That's why. Rory Reid has a company with some Chinese people. Then they want to get the solar company over there. I don't know how they're gonna do it because Nevada Power don't let anybody do the solar business.
That's Warren
Look what
Buffett
they
now,
did
right?
look what they did. They took that solar company that was here. They had to close.
Solar City, right?
Yeah. And now they are in the solar business.
Now, Victoria, she's going to win her race for the Senate up there. She's running a good campaign.
I don't think so.
You know?
I hope not.
You don't?
No. I don't think anybody that is in a position for 5 months should be thinking about going higher office.
I thought that originally, and you're right.
I don't believe that should be the.
She should. Well, 34 is my assembly district, and I see her all the time at Bob Beer's functions and things like that. And she's running a good campaign, but then she hires the same people who ran Sue Loudon's stuff, Ryan Hamilton and what's his name?
Lisa May.
No, not Lisa Mayo.
No?
No. Ryan Hamilton and what's his name? The guy who ran.
Oh yeah.
No, I can't.
Yeah, Brian Hamilton called me one day because he wanted to correct something I wrote about Victoria Seaman and I wrote about Michelle Fiore. Then I don't think she should be telling people that if the police officer pointed a gun. I mean, what do you want, the people to die?
Well, she's got the big boobs to protect her.
That's why you need to read the Tribune once in a while.
I do.
I just said that. I said she thinks that her chest can stop everything.
Well, yeah, and they're gonna have a hell of a time closing the casket when she dies.
And I tell you, I like Michelle. She used to have a radio show here,
Remember?
3 hours a day. 6 o'clock in the morning, never miss a day. So she's responsible enough for that.
But down there, now she's running for Congress. She should.
She should not.
No, I'm going to support Danny Tarkanian on this one this time down there. There's too many people running. I like it that she's running.
Yeah, I like Danny Tarkanian better than I like Joe Heck.
Well, Joe Heck is all about Lisa Heck. Lisa Heck is a pushy bro.
Who?
Lisa Heck, his wife. She's running the whole show. I mean, Joe really has no interest in politics. He never really did. He's a good man. I think he's the emperor of the army now or something. I told Catherine, I said, Catherine, you can't be running against a guy who's a military guy. He's got titles. Catherine Cortez Masto.
Who's running? Who's she running again?
Joe Heck. And for Senate.
Oh, Joe Heck, yeah.
I said, you got all these little people out there just, calling him all sorts
I
of
thought Joe Heck was running for Congress.
You should have stayed.
He's in Congress.
He is in Congress, yeah.
He's in Congress.
So how many people running in that U.S. Senate?
35, I don't know.
No, the Senate is just hacking and
Yes,
stuff.
the Senate is set, but it's
That's a sad story because I don't like either one. I don't like either one of them because I like Catherine Cortez Masto.
But she's linked to Reed.
She's been,
She's linked to Reed.
Right,
That's it.
that's
Case
the problem.
closed.
It's like I said, let me tell you if I'm wrong. You know, I don't agree with you ever, but once in a while, you know, it is like a diamond baseball game, right? He got Cortez Masto here in first base. He got Ruben Kewen in second base. He got Dina Titus in third base. Okay, Harry Reid is not gonna retire. He's gonna be calling the shots.
Well, I think Dina Titus cheats.
Okay, who else is running? Who else that belong to Harry Reid? You know,
You can say everybody belongs to Harry Reid. I think you're right about Ruben. I like Ruben a lot, but
Ruben is the Spanish talking for Harry Reid.
You're right. You're right. You know that Shelley Berkeley she lost to Dean Aller. That she didn't get a second chance when Harry retired. I think that says a lot about Harry. Harry is a mean-spirited, evil, little, vindictive, spiteful little guy.
Yeah.
Kind of like Doug Gillespie.
Yeah, I don't know which one is worse. I agree with that. I don't know which one is worse. Harry Reid, at least.
Well, you can't be any worse, so there may be people as worse.
Yeah,
I don't know,
right,
you can't be worse.
Same level.
Yeah, it can't be worse.
What is Gillespie doing nowadays? You know everything
He
about.
got no. They don't want him at McDonald's cleaning the urinals or serving the French fries anymore. So he's not working the counter there. The Girl Scout troops fired him. He can't sell a Girl Scout cookie for a meeting. He's getting
So what is he doing now? Come
He's
on.
watching cartoons. That's all he's doing back there. He's got. I've heard nothing. Of course, all cops are required by law to live in Henderson, and they all live in the same neighborhood. He's down there.
He don't live. He live in Henderson. Really?
Almost all Metro does. It's really it is. Joe.
I hear that I don't know if it's true or not. That he's the one that is guiding Joe Lombardo and.
Oh, I thought it was a seeing eye dog doing that.
Huh?
I thought it was a seeing eye dog doing that.
I hear that they talk a lot.
Oh, I'm sure
They talk.
And Bill Young's in on that too. But Joe, I don't believe Joe ever really wanted to be sheriff. I think he's out at 2018 at his 30-year mark. He just got married last year, and nobody knows what happened to wife number one. So nobody's seeing her around the place. So Joe and I.
Is he related to that Joe Lombardo that was working for Rick Rizzo at the Crazy Horse?
No.
The people from New York. No mob connection.
I don't know about that. Joe has a Japan connection.
Joey the Clown from
Yeah,
Lombardo.
that was the crazy guy, right? Joe
Lombardo. Joey the Clown.
Right. He was Bellacio's people and all that.
Yeah.
Now our Joe Lombardo. Lombardo is like Smith in Italian. It means I am going to be Christian sheriff. I think in Italian. Lombardo is a very common name, and he is from Chicago, but we never met there. He spent all of two minutes there. He still has relations in some of the suburban areas of Chicago, but his sister is in Pennsylvania, I think. Of course, his daughter's going to school in Idaho, and he's here with his new wife. I wish him well. I supported him.
How do you know all this personal stuff about these people? Never mind.
Right, yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for having me,
Mike,
Rolando.
thank you for being here today. It was fun having you and Norm at the same time.
And let's, when he comes back into town, let's do
He
all
said
this
he's coming
together.
in June. Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Yeah, Mr. Producer, cool.
You ever listen to Mike Levine?
I have before, yeah.